Welcome back to another episode of Back to the Futures, the official podcast of the Futures League. His name is Matt Ferreira. I'm Owen Shadrick. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing amazing. It's been a great week for baseball, and I'm looking forward to for everybody to hear this interview because it was amazing.
Yeah, we have a really good interview coming up for you guys. But first, we have a couple of things to get off of our chests. It's a standings update, first off. The standings are a little bit different than the last time we talked. We were recording this on Thursday, June 27th, and a new team is in first place. It is the Norwich Sea Unicorns. They're only in first place by .006, but they're in first place at 16-10. The Westfield Starfire is not far behind at 14-9. Winners of 4 in a row. The New Britain Bees are in third. The winners of 5 in a row are those pesky Vermont Lake Monsters are coming back up the standings in fourth, followed by the Bravehearts, the Silver Knights, the Rocks, and the Road Warriors. Matt, who are our player and pitchers of the week?
For player of the week, we had Dawson Bryce for the Vermont Lake Monsters. Part of the Lake Monsters coming back up the standings, going 5 for 15 with 3 doubles, a home run, 6 runs, and 7 RBIs. So really producing offense for them. And the pitcher of the week is from the Nashua Silver Knights, Derek Woods, who threw a gem, 6 innings and a win, 0 earned runs, 1 hit, and 7 strikeouts.
And we also have our guy in the major leagues. We didn't have his recorded RBI yet, but Ben Rice has an RBI in the major leagues. He's got 6 hits. He's hitting .261 in 23 at-bats, scoring 2 runs. Again, very happy for Ben, and congratulations on that. This week, though, we have a member of those first-place Norwich Sea Unicorns on our podcast. It's been a long time coming. We've been trying to get him on, but he is ready. It is Andrew Rondini. He was really excited to be on this show. He had a hectic month with committing and decommitting from school, but Matt, he was a great interview.
Yeah, very great ball player. He's had a hot start of the year, which we'll hear him talk about, but he was very excited to come on. It was great to hear from him.
Yeah, he's got a sub-1 ERA. He has been stellar to start the year, and he just had another great start on Tuesday. We're really looking forward to you guys hearing this interview, and we're going to get you there. Here is Mr. Andrew Rondini. We are honored to welcome on our next guest here on Back to the Futures. He is in his first summer in the Futures League, and he is a pitcher for the Norwich Sea Unicorns. It is Andrew Rondini. Andrew, how you doing today, buddy?
How you doing? Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you too, man. And just right off the bat, we want to ask you, how has your Futures League experience been so far?
It's been incredible. I've been to a few games a couple years ago before joining the Sea Unicorns, and when I came to my first game, I was like, yeah, like this is what I want to be a part of. So I was pretty excited when Coach Murphy reached out, and I was able to sign a contract and come play in Norwich. So it's been pretty fun so far, but still early in the season, but excited to keep going.
Yeah, and what's that like? You're from New Milford, so you're pretty close to Norwich. What's it like going to games as a kid and now playing for the team?
Yeah, so I'm in a host family with a couple other guys. It's about 2 hours from my house, so it's not bad. My parents can still come see some home games and everything like that, which is always fun. But I mean, it's almost like I'm playing minor league baseball. That's kind of what it feels like, with the nice stadium. We get there early before games. It's really just a good time, and we get to play with guys from all around, different schools and different divisions, which is awesome. And coming out of a high school season and kind of playing like real college baseball now, I definitely think it will be beneficial walking into my freshman year next year. So.
Yeah, and I want to ask, when you were deciding on teams to play for, was Norwich an easy choice?
Absolutely, yeah, without a doubt. I was super pumped when I got off the phone with Coach Murphy and found out I had the chance to come to Norwich. So I was pretty excited. Yeah,
that's great. And last night was 2 nights ago was your 4th start of the year. You've been great out of the gate. You've got a .45 ERA. You've got 23 strikeouts in 20 innings pitched, and one pitcher of the week during our first week of the season. What's it like to have the type of start that you've had and to pitch as well as you have?
It's definitely exciting. I'm just trying to go out there, each start and, do the best that I can and kind of forget about the one that I had in the past. But it's definitely an honor to get those awards. But yeah, just trying to go out there and, put my team in the best position to win. And yeah, just kind of take one game at a time, one pitch at a time, one inning at a time. So
Hold on, we'll get right Back to the Futures. But first, we want to share a message from our friends at 78 Sports. Do you have kids playing baseball or softball? We all know that practice time is limited, especially here in New England. Not to mention, the cost of lessons and cage time can add up quickly. Save yourself some time and money by giving your kids what they need to work on their game at home. Our friends at 78 Sports can help you put together the perfect at-home training setup. Whether you want to start small with just a tee and hitting net, or are looking for a full cage setup with turf and a pitching machine, they have you covered. The team at 78 Sports has designed and installed hundreds of home and commercial sports training facilities, so let them help you plan the perfect setup for your space. Visit 78 Sports website at 78sports.com. That's SEVENTY, the number 8, sports.com. SEVENTY, the number 8, sports.com. Now back to your regular scheduled programming. And when we talk to many pitchers that go into their first time facing college talent, they say it's incredibly different. What has that been like for you, and what adjustments have you had to make going into the Futures League?
yeah, so one of the things I realized pretty quickly was a high school strike zone is a little different than a college strike zone. That's definitely a big difference in levels. But another thing that I really I think has benefited me the most is developing that third pitch and getting that. So I developed a changeup, which is definitely probably my best pitch now. Um, in high school I didn't really use it all that much, and honestly, like it really wasn't that great if I'm going to be blatantly honest. But when I came here in the summer, I kind of realized like having that third pitch against quality hitters is it's a necessity. So developing that changeup was definitely a huge part of my arsenal, and I mean it's definitely effective. And I've had guys when I was a freshman in high school and when the seniors went off to college and they came back, they were like, yeah, like the biggest thing that we've noticed with pitching is that third pitch, that changeup. So that was a big piece of me to develop as a pitcher. But yeah.
Yeah, you could talk to a number of people about that, your pitching arsenal. So what does it mean that you're able to kind of rehearse that almost in Futures League, kind of feel how it's working? Because I mean, you have a .45 ERA. I think it's working out pretty.
Yeah, it's definitely good to kind of toy around with what works with what. Like I used to be not too comfortable throwing changeups to righties. Um, and I walked in here with just kind of like an open mindset, and I was like, you know what, like this is the place to do it. This is the place to try and kind of work on this because everybody's kind of here to develop and get their reps in. So I kind of again I walked in here with an open mindset, just trying to figure out what works with what. And I think it's going pretty well so far. So I just got to keep working. That's all.
It is going well indeed. Our 2024 All-Star Game will be held in the Rose City. What should fans expect when coming to Norwich?
We have a great environment for sure. I, the first game that I came, I actually graduated high school on the 25th of May, and then I moved in the 26th. And our first game, I got there, and I was like, I was told that there was going to be a good amount of people at the game, but I mean, I wasn't expecting that. We had a pretty hefty crowd, so I was like, this is awesome. It was definitely a good time. So, and especially with the best players in the league coming around to play at Dodd, it'll be a fun environment to be a part of. That's for sure. So, anybody that goes, it'll definitely be a good couple of days.
And what would it mean for you to be in that All-Star game and being in that environment and pitching in front of the Norwich faithful?
I mean, it's going to be exciting. That's for sure. I can't wait. I think especially with it being at Dodd in Norwich, I feel like that will be even better because every home game, it's as the season kept going, we noticed the same fans in the crowd. So we got some familiar faces out there and with great support. So we have a great fan base, but it'll be a good time. Definitely be a good time.
And Coach Kevin Murphy took over this team, took them to a championship, and have raved about them, about how much he has taught them. What has he taught you about the game in his short time being your coach, and how has his leadership influenced you?
Yeah, Coach Murphy's awesome. The first phone call I had, I was a little honestly, I was a little nervous, and when he picked up the phone, he was awesome. He makes everybody feel comfortable. You know, it's almost like he's one of the guys instead of a coach. You know, so and the last start I had a couple nights ago, he wasn't able to make it. I think he was doing some recruiting for his college, but he texted me right before the game. I was about to go out into the outfield and get moving, and he texted me good luck, and I was like, just makes you feel good. So he's always there, and again, he's like one of the guys. You know, instead of looking at him as like a coach, he's one of us. So I mean, he's awesome to be around, awesome to play for.
Yeah, he certainly has that effect on people. I think Matt's first podcast episode was Kevin Murphy. So
Oh, really? Awesome.
Kevin helped ease Matt into the Futures League as well.
There you go. Yeah.
And from the Futures League to the college game, you were originally committed to William and Mary, but a massive coaching change led you to reopen your recruitment. Before we get into where you end up, I want to ask, how challenging was that for you, committing to a school, having everything kind of planned out, and then that kind of taken away from you? And what did you make of all those changes?
Yeah, it was definitely a hectic couple of weeks. I would again, I feel like around this time period, a lot was going on. I just graduated high school, and then when I found out about the coaching change, it was my first night in Norwich. So I have a teammate, Trey Bagazi, who's on the Unicorns with us. He was a freshman at William and Mary, and it all started out. I opened my phone to our class of 2024 Snapchat group chat, and everybody was like talking about how our head coach is not coming back, and I was like, yeah, like they don't know that, like for sure. Like I didn't really look too much into it. 5 minutes later, my buddy Trey called me and told me, and I was like, oh boy, like what is going on? Then I got an email from the athletic director, and yeah, it was definitely a hectic couple of weeks because I really did love everything about William and Mary. I loved everything about the school, like let alone the baseball and the coaching staff. The school was amazing. I think the location was awesome. The academic portion of it was a good fit. But when I found out that all three coaches wouldn't be coming back, it was a tough decision to make, to decommit. But yeah, a couple when I was not officially decommitted, we kind of had to sit down and talk as a family and figure out kind of like what we're gonna do moving forward. But once I decommitted, several schools started to reach out, and yeah, I ended up making my decision to attend Rutgers next year. So I'm definitely very excited about that. But yeah, I mean, I also think everything kind of happens for a reason. That was the mindset me and my family kind of had walking into it. Instead of like a panic, we were like, you know what, this is all happening for a reason. We're just gonna kind of go with the flow, So yeah.
And you mentioned it, you're now committed to Rutgers. What was the process like ending up there in such a short period of time that you have in the summer and going into the fall, you would have to be there. So having only a few months to make such a crucial decision, what was that process like?
Yeah, so I ended up visiting, and that was kind of the first step. And I loved everything. I loved everything about it. Coach Owens, the head coach, he was absolutely incredible. I feel like just the environment, you kind of know when you get there if it's going to be a right fit. And I had that feeling. And then I later found out that Coach McRae, who's the head coach at William and Mary, who recruited me, he's now going to be the pitching coach at Rutgers. So that was kind of like like this just makes sense. That was kind of like a confirmation right there. But Coach Owens was incredible on the visit. And that's one of the biggest things I kind of look for is yes, I want to go to a place where I'm comfortable, because I feel like if I'm not comfortable with the school itself, like let alone from the baseball part, I'm not going to perform at my best ability on the field. But then I also want to be at a place where I know that I'm wanted, and Coach Owens really made me feel that way. So at the end of the day, I knew it was the right fit. So I'm super pumped to get going, and it was definitely a bit of a quick turnaround. I actually just applied yesterday officially, so that was a step in the right direction. But yeah, I'm definitely super pumped.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you mentioned it, Coach Mike McCray, who was the head coach at William and Mary, is now the pitching coach there, and a big reason why you were at Rutgers. What made you want to follow him to Rutgers, and what were your conversations like before you even, committed to William and Mary originally?
Yeah, so when I was on the phone with Coach McRae, let alone how he did at William and Mary, he did very well. But I know he was the pitching coach at VCU prior to his time at William and Mary, and I've heard nothing but great things from not only what he was telling me and the research I did by myself, but from other coaches as well. Like some of my summer ball coaches, they were helping me out. I played for Baseball U, and Coach Virgilio, he was by far the biggest help throughout this process. And he was telling me how he's heard nothing but great things of him as a pitching coach. And again, when I spoke to Coach McRae on the phone, I said we had a similar conversation to a year and a half ago when I committed to William and Mary, and I said to him in his office, I was like, my goals are to, play professional baseball one day. And I said, I really think that you can help me get there. So when I got on the phone with him again, when he was officially at Rutgers, I was like, everything that I said to you before, I really do mean. Like, this is truly like what I want to do. Those are my goals. And I think that, I think that you could still help me get there. So, and he said, he was super excited that we're going to be able to work together again. So it's very exciting, So I'm really looking forward to it. But
And playing in the Big Ten alone is no joke. It's a very competitive conference. Pretty much all the teams have a similar record, and it's very, like they all beat up on each other. How excited are you for that, to have the roller coaster of a season?
it's definitely gonna be a good time. I feel like I keep saying that, but I think being surrounded with guys at that level, I feel like that's the best way to kind of improve on yourself. Like there's a saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So I feel like being surrounded with guys who want to be there and are just hungry to get better. I feel like that's just gonna motivate me even more to work as hard as I can and play at the highest level of baseball that I can. So that's really what I want at the end of the day, is just to play at the again the highest level that there is possible. So
And many freshmen that go into college learn the hard way of how long a college baseball season can be. How do you believe that Futures League has helped you through that, is going to help you through that process?
yeah, well, I mean, with the Unicorns, we're doing something every day. Whether like not necessarily practice, but we're doing something every day. Six games a week, and I think we have what 62 games this whole entire summer. So it's pretty packed. But I mean, I only pitch once a week, but I mean, my roommates and again all the guys that I know want to be there. It's like we all get to the stadium early. We get our lifts in, we get our sprints in, and our long toss, whatever we need to get done, we get that done early. And it's like if you don't show up to do that extra work, it's like it won't go unnoticed. Like you'll have some of the guys get on top of you for it. So and in the host family, like it's kind of like a cycle. We just wake up, we make eggs and ground beef, and then we watch a couple episodes of The Sopranos, and then we head over to the field and get our lift in. And then whether we're home or away, we'll get on the bus and we'll get ready for the game. So, I mean, it's packed, but it's definitely going to be like a nice welcome to college, little introduction. So I feel like it's definitely going to be beneficial for sure.
And you spend a lot of time with your teammates in the Futures League, but one of your teammates will be going into Rutgers with you next year, Brendan Hyde, who is transferring from Nichols. How has he helped you adapt to the Futures League, and has he been a big help to your success so far this season?
Yeah, so both Brennan and Nick Tomasetto, who was a freshman there last year on the baseball team, it's definitely nice knowing that I'm going to be walking in with a couple familiar faces. That definitely makes me feel a little better. But it's nice because being like kind of like the young guy and having Brennan, who's a fifth year, who is kind of taking me under his wing, and he's been through all of this before. He's had his college career at Nichols, and D3 All American, like that says something for sure. But he's been amazing for us this year. Um, and yeah, it's definitely going to be great walking in there with a couple familiar faces with Brendan and Nick. So
Yeah, there's a couple other Futures League familiar faces in the Rutgers organization. You've got Jack Aaron, who is the director of player development, who formerly played for the Nashua Silver Knights and managed the Brockton Rocks. And former Brockton Rocks manager Mike Garza is the hitting coach. Obviously, you're not going to talk to the hitting coach as much. But have you spoken to those guys at all? Have they reached out at all?
yeah, I talked to Coach Garza after my visit. He gave me a call, so he was on the road when I went on my visit, so I wasn't able to meet him face to face. But he kind of said the same thing you just said. He was like, I'm kind of the hitting guy, so we won't be working with each other too much, but we're really excited to hopefully have you, because this was previously to when I officially committed. But and going back, it's nice to kind of get a phone call from him, who he even though he's not the pitching coach, he was still saying like, we're really excited. And again, it just kind of goes back to being in a place where I know I'm going to be welcomed, because that's an important part to me for making a decision like that. So definitely, again, I couldn't wait anymore. I'm super duper pumped.
Yeah, it's good to see that Futures League blood is still running true through college baseball.
Yeah, right.
It's good to see those guys reaching out to each other. Got
Yeah,
each other.
absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
Before we return to Back to the Futures, we want to share a message from our friends at Zorian Bat Company. Rob Zorian started the company, Zorian Bat Company, in 2003, literally out of the trunk of his gold car in Davie, Florida. Within 2 years, he was selling the wood bat line to the MLB and continues to manufacture the highest grade wood bats for the Little League all the way up to the majors. Rob Zorian, founder and president of Zorian, says, I started this company in 2003 to service all baseball players in the United States and beyond, and after 19 years, our mission has not changed. We are excited to have the opportunity to work with the Futures League and wish all of the players and coaches a healthy and successful season ahead. For more information about Zorian, visit their website at zorianbats.com. Zorian, America's baseball brand. Now, back to the Futures. Our league administrator and our boss, Josh Cummins, wrote an article in the New England Baseball Journal about you, where he gets expert analysis on your pitching and your college choices from your high school head coach, Todd Mathewson. First off, did Josh get it all right in the story? We just want to make sure.
I think so. I looked at it the other day, and I was reading through it. I think he got it all squared away. Yeah.
Yeah, he's very good at his job, and he's very good.
It was awesome. Yeah.
He got it all right. But on a serious note, your head coach in high school spoke very highly of you and was very, very in depth about each of your pitches and your choices for school and whatever else it may be. When you read that article, what went through your head, and what does it mean to kind of see a former coach of yours speak that highly of you?
It's awesome because me and Coach Matheson have been together for 4 years now. I came into Canterbury as a freshman, and I mean, we've kind of like been through it all. He's awesome. Him and Coach Matheson and Coach Virgilio, they're the two that, I give thanks to the most, because, they really helped me throughout. I kind of want to say both processes, because, I went through it my junior year and I just went through it again, but they've been there, the whole entire time. But, yeah, Coach Matheson and I, we've been together for 4 years, and I came in as a freshman as a two-way, and our senior catcher ended up tearing his labrum, and I ended up my freshman year catching for varsity and catching some pretty big arms. One of them, Ian Cook, who just won Big East Pitcher of the Year at UConn. And I was just like a 14-year-old kid who probably hasn't seen a pitch above 78, and all of a sudden I was catching low 90s. So it was definitely a lot. But Coach Matheson helped me kind of make that transition from because we weren't sure, am I going to be a position player, am I going to be a pitcher? And when we kind of made that decision of becoming a pitcher only, he was there the whole entire time to help me through that, because it's definitely a different lifestyle, to say the least. You're only playing once a week. Your lifts look different. Your practice spans look different. So again, he was there the whole entire time, and guided me through everything. So
And we talk about the roller coaster of a baseball season before. And at Canterbury, you also went through a roller coaster of a season when you guys lost in the WNE PBL championship game. What did you take from that loss that you're going to use moving forward?
it's definitely tough to wrap your head around a loss like that, especially senior year, with all your guys. But you kind of just gotta take it for what it is, and learn from it, like you just said. And that's just part of baseball. Sometimes we fell short by one run. But instead of kind of dwelling on that feeling, you kind of just gotta put it in the back of your head and remember what it's like. So moving forward, you don't try and do whatever you can to avoid that feeling again. But I mean, regardless of that loss, we still had a great season together. And I'm confident that Canterbury is going to kind of keep that going in the future years. So, but yeah, overall, like all 4 years that I had at Canterbury were amazing. But yeah, it's a great program for sure.
And you yourself, in that run in the semifinals, pitched a one-hit complete game. What goes through your head during games like that, and how do you stay locked in throughout the whole game?
Yeah, like you just kind of you got to take it, one pitch at a time, one out at a time, one inning at a time. Going in, I was kind of worried about the bigger picture, but before the game, I kind of like sat myself down and was like, you know what, like I just got to get through the first batter first, and then just see what happens. Then I'm not going to worry about the second or the third inning before I get through the first. And it ended up going really well. You know, just to be able to send us to the championship was, that was my only concern and my only goal. So, I'm just glad I was able to help out the team and get us to the position that we were in. So, yeah.
And also at Canterbury, you were a captain your senior year. Great opportunity to work on your leadership skills. How did you feel those skills improved over your 4 years when you eventually were named captain? And what do you hope to take with you to Rutgers?
Yeah, I think it was definitely nice to again be there for 4 years, so I can witness other captains and see what they do, and kind of pick and choose of how I wanted to present myself as a captain. So it was an honor to get voted on as a captain by my teammates, and my main goal was just kind of to bring us together, and make sure that everybody's happy to be there, because like I said before, I feel like and this is for me personally, if I'm not happy in a place that wherever I am, I feel like no matter what, I'm not going to perform to the best of my ability on the field. So I feel like kind of having that culture and that tie within your teammates is one of the more important aspects to baseball, because it really is a team sport when it comes down to it. So yeah, just kind of bringing the guys together as much as I could, and uh, yeah, just trying to lead them to the best year that we could have had. So
Yeah, that's great. And I think the third or fourth question we asked you was about facing talent, college level talent for the first time. So I want to ask you, in your first four starts, what has been your most welcome to college baseball moment so far in Norwich?
hmm, that's definitely a good question. I think my first outing, um, it was home against Worcester, and um, I won't lie, I was definitely a bit jittery. I was walking out there with a lot of adrenaline, a lot of blood flow, and just kind of I had to take a few deep breaths before throwing that first pitch. But also, my it was nice to have my high school catcher from my junior year, Owen Arias, who's at Central Connecticut. He was able to he signed a temp contract early in the year for us, and he was able to catch my first outing. So, him being my best friend, that was awesome to have him back there. But I think early in the game, I had a couple of walks and it was just a little jittery. So, and then also dealing with that new college strike zone, because going into the game, Owen was like, "Just so you know," he's like, "this isn't high school anymore," and I was like, I know." But then I didn't really realize it until I threw a couple of my first pitches, because then I was like, yeah, that definitely probably would have been called strike in high school, but not here, not anymore. So, yeah, that was probably that was a big difference that I definitely realized early on. That's for sure.
Yeah, episode 2 of this season, we talked to Tom Rio, and Matt. Matt gave an example of how he was very jittery and shaky his first time out, and as was Tom. So that's not new. That's not new.
And one question that we ask everybody to wrap up with: what is your all-time favorite baseball memory?
That's a great question, actually. All time, I would have to go all the way back to Little League, to be honest. When I was playing for our New Milford travel team, just our local travel team, we were hosting regionals, and we lost the first game. So it was double elimination. We lost the first game, and it was like I think it was 12 maybe, and it felt like the whole entire town was at every one of our games. But yeah, we lost the first game, and we were like, man, like, no way, we're hosting and we're gonna be in and out in 2. And we made it all the way back to the championship, out of the losers bracket, and we ended up we fell short in the last game. We won. We had to beat West Hartford twice to make it to the World Series. But just to be able to, especially for your hometown, to lose the first game, then make it all the way out of the losers bracket and make it to the championship, that was pretty special. I'll always remember that. And that was 5 years ago. So that was awesome. That was a good time.
Yeah, those Little League memories are always going to stick with you. So that's great.
Yeah, right. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, Andrew, this has been a fantastic interview. Thank you so much again for taking the time to join us today. We really appreciate it. And we wish you the best of luck the rest of this season and your upcoming freshman year at Rutgers, man.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. Have fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Awesome.
This has been season 9, episode 3 of Back to the Futures, the official podcast of the Futures League. We have new episodes coming out all throughout the season. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see everyone soon. Yeah.